All right, everybody, Scott Pierce here. Welcome to the webinar today. We're going to be going over GeoFarm / circle prospecting mastery and how to get listings out of your area there. So at listingsleads.com, I'm going to go ahead and log in to my account. And actually, before we get started, two things. One is, if you have seen our new email, when you have a new listing or new listing status in your account, you'll get an email that looks like this. So if your listings are coming in from a data feed, they come in overnight, you wake up in the morning, you'll get a beautiful email, and you will see there's a couple of links here. And when you click the link in the email, it will now just log you right in, as long as you've been logged in a previous browser. So this works on your phone. It's awesome. It works on the laptop. And all you have to do is just confirm your location. You got special housing ad category already checked for you. We got the lifetime budget of $35. All of this is editable. So I can edit the post, the text, the image, the budget, the start and end date, all of that. But for 99% of you, I want you to just click the create ad button. What I have seen over time is two things. One thing that will help you, one thing that will hurt you. One thing that will help you is running ads consistently over time. The more consistent you are over time, the cheaper the leads usually get and the better quality they get. The other thing is, on the bad side, is when you start editing those ads too much. We got those ads set up to be very clear, to be very precise, to target the right people, both within the API with Facebook. So we got all those settings done for you to maximize the number, the correct people to see it. But in addition, the text and the images of those ads are set up in a way to get people to click through to become a lead for you. So a lot of times I see people, they will load up those property descriptions in the ad. They start putting in some crazy images, and the ads just don't work as well when you do that. Let the ads work the way we've got them for the most part. Once you run the ad, if you do not have a great follow-up, highly recommend our AI text follow-up. It's half off through the end of the month. And you can see the different conversations here. Just checking the conversation this morning, and it was absolutely awesome. It was so good. People give up the location they want to buy. They give up the price range. Someone this morning I was looking at, and one yesterday, both had a house to sell as well. And I love it when the people thank the AI agent. It's absolutely awesome. I'll see these conversations happening in our admin, and quite often the person will say thank you or TY or thanks so much at the end of the whole conversation. Is absolutely brilliant. And so what the AI text follow-up is going to do is, we got some qualifying questions that it runs through. There's actually a person behind it. So if things get weird, and this happened to me, where somebody will actually call me and it'll be like, hey, this is Alex from the Scott Pierce home selling team. I saw that you inquired about a property. And it's beautiful that there's actually a real person back there that will step in if things get a little bit weird, which I've never seen yet. I've seen nothing but great stuff. But the one time that they called me up, I became a lead. So I was testing it out just like about a week ago. I was testing it out, and I let the response sit there for a day because I just wanted to see what would happen. And then I responded. I didn't respond for a day. And then somebody called me up and like, hey, this is Alex from the Pierce home selling team. And I was blown away. So just know that the AI text follow-up actually has people behind it. And again, what they're going to try to do is it will try, when I say try, and that's true. So it will try to get the lead to put down a day and time that's appropriate for you to call them. So they become a lead, and they'll say, are you looking just for information? Are you browsing? They'll go through the whole thing. And then at the proper point, it'll say, that sounds great. I've got all the information I need. When would be time for one of my team members to call you? And then they'll say something like Thursday at 5, anytime after 6 p.m., Saturday afternoon. So they'll give a thing like that. And then that way you can respond. You can set up a specific time to reach out to them and have a great conversation. So it's so beautiful. The other thing is, we've got a new email blast going live this morning. Let me see. I've actually got a copy of it in my other browser. If you don't mind, give me a second. I will bring it over. and I will show you. And that way it'll probably drop while we're on the call, which would be awesome. So a version for lenders. So all the lenders will have this version, and agents. So if you are an agent client of Listings to Leads, this will be dropped in your account. I'll show you here in a few seconds how it works so that later when it does drop, you'll know exactly what to do with it. But this email, our team wrote up this email. We got a mortgage broker on our team. And so she monitors all this stuff. And when something comes up, and it's going to have the ultimate guide to buying a home at the bottom. So beautiful, awesome email that you're going to want to share with your clients. So you're going to want to get that email to your database. So real quickly, before I get into GeoFarm and circle prospecting, would it be okay for everybody if I showed you how to use that email? Awesome. Cool. When you're in Listings to Leads, you're on the dashboard. All you have to do is scroll down, and right here, there's a section called Database Email Blast right on your dashboard. Now you can go to follow up, but it's just right here. And when this email drops, and the email itself, the title of the email is Big Opportunities for Buyers. Now the one for the agents will actually talk about sellers as well. So this one here is for lenders. The agent version, same thing more or less, but it's also geared again for both buyers and sellers. So it's a great email to share with your buyers, to share with your sellers. It's good for the buyers to see what the relevancy is for the seller and vice versa. And I'm telling you, it's awesome. I can't wait for you guys to get it. So once it drops, and if you haven't sent this one out, I might send this one out ASAP and send the next one out in a couple of days. What you're going to do is you can do a couple of things. One is click over here, send test email. So that it'll have my email. I can send test email. And again, I go to my other monitor and I'm going to pop it out, bring it over. This is the one that we launched or that we dropped a couple of weeks ago. Every week or two, when something relevant comes out, when something important comes out, we create these email blasts, and we create an entire social media marketing package, a swipe file, video, and image. This is the email from a couple of weeks ago. Again, it's got my signature at the bottom. Yours will have yours. And so once you view that test email, go ahead and just click on the subject line. That'll take you right to the section here. And now I can either send this out through Listings to Leads, or I can copy and send it to my CRM. So I can either click schedule and schedule this out to all of my leads. And over here, you can see, right, I got all leads selected. So over here, where it says send to, so all of my leads, and I can click send, or I can click copy code, and then we can go to our CRM and we can drop it into our CRM, whatever CRM you're using. And I just have Line Desk here open. And so Line Desk, I'm just going to show you how quick and easy this is to send out to your database. Again, I know we're not in the database call, but this is coming out today. I do want to make sure that all of you have access to this. In your CRM, just go to wherever you can send a bulk email or an email blast. On Line Desk, it's under bulk actions. I can email 8,300 people. And again, this email will be appropriate for the agents. It'll be appropriate for all of your leads. And I'm just going to click the source. The only thing weird is there's this button called source. And because we've created this entire email for you, the extra step you're going to have to take instead of writing it out is click the source button, and you get this little pop-up, and just paste in, because you copied it from Listings to Leads, and there we go. A beautiful email. Now, sometimes when you copy code into different CRMs, you will see, can't mess with the formatting just a touch. Just read through it. I can see here, I got it's underlined. I'm just going to go through it. Plus, I'm going to just make sure everything looks good. Here I can see. So you can see here, it's just a couple of words got joined together there when I copied it over. It's very easy to see because it's going to have the little red line under it. Plus, I'm just going to make sure it looks good. And hey, you know what? If there's anything in here that you want to change for your area and specifically, feel free to do it, right? Your area could be a little bit different. You might want to add something to it, but get this email out to your database, okay? So again, from my own CRM here, in this case, I'm using Line, and I'm not recommending it. I just happen to have this account. And so from here, again, schedule immediate. So get that out the door. Now, the other thing I want to mention here, if you haven't seen it, have you all seen this? The new suggested ads? So just so you know, we will display 4 ads for you here. So 2 buyer, 2 seller. And it's going to depend on what listings do you have in the account? What are the status of these listings? And then if you don't have any listings or you've already got ads running for them, we will suggest 4 other ads that are the top ads, depending on the landing pages, the PDF guides, and so on, so that you will always have 2 buyer and 2 seller ads that are performing well system-wide. So don't have to worry about, is this a good ad or not a good ad? If the ad is here, it's performing well throughout the system. So again, listings are the best way, and those are the first things that you should be doing. A listing that is for sale, because we want people to associate us with listings. We want to get good at being a listing agent. So marketing listings is important. So we want to get good at that. So every week we want to be running an ad for a listing for sale, ours or borrowed. And if you don't have a listing, you can do a list, like an IDX link or your agent website. You do it as a custom ad in Listings to Leads. Then we got a pending or sold listing here. I've got a just listed, and then I got a cash offer. So for seller leads. And so for any of these, all you do is click the green create ad button. So here we are, lead ads. All I have to do is drop in the location. We got the 15-mile radius for special housing ad category, lifetime budget of $50, start and end date. I can retarget. So if you have a custom audience, so I got a custom audience from my database, and I got a custom audience from my Plus Leads. Go buy a list of homes you can go to My Plus Leads, Vulcan 7, Bass Leads. So there's a lot of websites you can go to. You can purchase a list of homes for sale. In fact, let me show you, because this is something I do recommend. When you think about the fact that you're trying to get in front of homeowners in your area, one of the best ways you can do it is to just go get a list of the homeowners, bring it into your CRM. And there's so much you can do with it, especially with Listings to Leads. For example, there's a website here, My Plus Leads. This is one of many services. But if I check out services, so there's a tab here, and notice we got expired. The Listings to Leads expired module will get you so many listings. Holy cow. Listingstoleads.com/expireds. Same thing. And here we got neighborhood data. If you're going to get serious about geofarming and circle prospecting, I would highly recommend taking a look at something like this, because with this, what I can do is I can now grab all of the homeowners in my area. And I think you get let's go to try it out for free. I think you get 1,000 a month. Yeah, look at that. 1,000 a month. So if you have the ability, now, if you can afford only $70 a month, and you think this might be something good for you. And again, this could be Vulcan 7. This could be Prospect Boss. This could be RedX. They've all got similar data. So you can start out with the FSBO expired, use the Listings to Leads, FSBO and expired training. Again, listingstoleads.com/expireds. Let me just make sure I got that right. And this is something that to be honest, goodness gracious, and then expired. Is it expired or expired? Let's find out. Expired. Okay, great. To me, this is part of geofarming, because unless you are getting 3 to 5 listing appointments a week, you need to get good. All right. You need to get good at doing your listings, your listing presentations. You need to get more comfortable being in front of homeowners in the area. And so going after the expireds is one of the fastest ways to launch your business and get more listing presentations under your belt, get used to talking to homeowners under your belt, and start getting listings under your belt. Make sense? So I would highly recommend. And then we got the FSBO, and similarly to the expired, let me just go to listingstoleads.com. And if I drop FSBO after the URL, yeah, there we go. FSBO marketing. So I like the expireds better, just because do both. We have had clients for the last 10 years clean up in their areas using our marketing funnels. So I would highly recommend get into this. And then as you're leveraging that, as you're getting good at that, right? Bump up to the 156, because now I can get 1,000, I believe that's a month, 1,000 new contacts a month. Now I don't need much more than 1,000 to start out with, because with 1,000, what you can do is you can create a custom audience in listings to lead so that we can target those people. So we can put ads in front of them. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. And it's something that I highly recommend. In fact, I just showed that to you with that cash offer ad that we did, right? I ran that to a custom audience of leads from right here. So I got a list of 1,000 homeowners. I downloaded them. I uploaded them into listings to leads. It created a custom audience. And now that's part of my GeoFarm strategy, is to make sure that these people that are hopefully going to be seeing my direct mail, maybe a nearby homeowner letter, get a phone call from me, but I want them to see my ads as well. All right. And then we also got the emails, like the one I just showed you would be a great email to get to these people as well. But our strategy is for our people in our farm area to see us in as many places as possible. So again, if you've got the ability to either come in at 70, and again, there's other programs, so check out the pricing, check out the reviews, but they've all got a similar setup where you can get, for a lower price point, the daily FSBOs and expireds. And then for a little bit more money, you can get also, in fact, right here, you can see they've even got likely to list. And then what is this 199? Pre-foreclosure, for rent by owner. Yeah, that's good. But if you're just starting out, I would start here. And if you can afford this, I would do that. Now, if you can't afford any of this, or you just don't have access to it, that's totally fine. We've got great ways for you as well. Now, before we get completely into it, I'm going to go to, we've got a tab here called Success Stories. And this is very relevant for this conversation. So you can see here, this nearby homeowner letter, 13 listings in one area, $100,000 in GCI from this tool alone. Now I'm going to be reviewing it with you. Bernadette here, she actually got 2 transactions. So she used a nearby homeowner letter. Corey mails them. So Corey, who we were just looking at, he mails them. Bernadette went door knocking, all right, with the letter, with the script, and got a listing. And that homeowner needed to buy. I believe she said she was downsizing. Elena, another one. And here's a nice little picture. 100 nearby homeowner letters, got a listing. In fact, you know what's awesome about this one? She was the selling agent. Now, here's a beautiful thing. If you don't have any listings, one of the best ways to leverage the nearby homeowner letter is to borrow a listing to sell. Now, I would highly recommend, even during the Christmas season, in fact, what day is Christmas this year? I swear, I feel like I've been completely out of it. Let me look up on my calendar. I'm just curious. Of course, it'll take me. Oh, awesome. Christmas is on a Wednesday. Perfect. I'm telling you, either the 21st or even the 28th, right? Those are Saturdays. Could be a great time to do an open house. It'd be an awesome time to do an open house, right? People are a little bit slow time of the year. People are thinking about what's going on, whether the economy, and I tell you, a lot of people are looking at the January 20th. I'm just telling you, whatever you think about politics, a lot of people I've been hearing from are looking at January 20th as, I'm going to wait I want to see what happens with Trump going into office. And so I think there's going to be not a huge, but I do think there's going to be a noticeable change in activity after January 20th, one way or the other. Priya, how do we, give you 1 second here. Yes, give me a second, Priya. That's a great question. I'll make sure I get to it. Let me just go through these success stories just a little bit, because they're completely irrelevant for what we're doing here. I'm going to show this one from Rob just briefly here, because he talks about, he got a call. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I show this is people get calls from the nearby homeowner letter. They literally get calls from the nearby homeowner letter, or they get a lead off of it, and then they call them back. They have a great conversation. And so using the pre-listing packet from listings to leads is one of those things you want to get good at your listing presentation. One of the things I think that a lot of people have a little bit of nervousness about, and I think you can hold them back a little bit, is you're not completely 100% on the listing presentation. And there's really 3 parts of a listing presentation that we'll get into at some other point. Introduction, going through the marketing plan, and then pricing. All right. Now there's a lot of great scripts in there. There's a lot of things that have to happen within that. But if you don't nail the marketing part of it, if you can't show them why it is that you think you can get them the most money, all right, the highest and best offer for their home, then you're already at a disadvantage, because you're going to be fumbling through the whole thing. So I really highly recommend get good with the listings to leads listing presentation. And you can see here, right? I'm just this is what I love. And this is, if you ever listen to me talk about the listing presentation, you hear me say the same thing. And it's because I've heard the same thing for like the last 10 years. When people scan the QR code on that listing presentation and they bring up the single property website for literally their home, they go absolutely nuts. They go absolutely nuts over that. And two more I'm going to look at here, because they're a little bit relevant here for sure. This one I just like to show because this guy, it was doing cold calling, realized it might not be the most efficient way. And really, cold calling, like I said, with expireds and FSBOs, that will keep you busy for cold calling. You don't need to worry about calling random people. Expireds, FSBOs, and circle prospecting, that nearby homeowner letter, those are the 3 best ways to be calling people. If you're going to call people completely out of the blue, it can be rough, right? Trying to get people to hang out with you on the telephone can be a little bit rough. So if you send something, either an email or direct mail ahead of time, it will greatly increase your chances, right, of even them calling you or becoming a lead, and then you call them and have a great conversation. And the last one, because it is so relevant to the GeoFarm and circle prospecting, and that is for you listing agents, please make sure you've got your yard signs dialed in. And I know this sounds so like, I can't believe we're having a webinar, we're wasting time talking about yard signs, but these are literally one of the best, high quality, for the price, seller and buyer leads you will ever generate. And let me scroll down in the mastermind group. We got a post. I love showing this post, but this is here what your yard sign should look like. Now it should have the status on the top. So coming soon, just listed, active, open house, pending. If you can get away with the just sold, do the just sold. Normally you may not have an opportunity because the sign's coming down, but every time that status changes, you want to put that status writer on the top, because that's going to get all the neighbors to relook at it. When they notice something different about that yard sign, they're going to look at it and go, oh, right. So imagine it was just listed and you had the just listed writer on the top. You had this right below it. So they can scan the QR code or send a text. And then 2 more things that you want to do, and you'll see it in this post, and I'll give this post to everybody. There is a light on this writer, on the yard sign, right on the arm. And that light is so important for a couple of things. One, half the time it is so dark that you can't see the yard sign nowadays. But once it's 5 o'clock, 5 to 8 or 5 to 9, that's a great opportunity for people. Plus also in the morning, right? So imagine in the morning, my gosh, it's not even light until almost 7 o'clock now. So all those people going to work in the morning, they're driving by, they don't see the yard sign. With the light, you're going to get more leads. The other thing is, when you're in a listing presentation and you show the homeowner, especially this time of year, that your yard signs are lit up all night long, so that from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m., the yard sign isn't dark, right? It's lit up. It can generate leads. Sellers absolutely love that. That's one of those things in the marketing part of your presentation. If you've got that light like that, it is going to just, it's one of those things, again, I've talked to agents about this, that sellers really latch onto. Because one of the things they go, yeah, wow, that's huge. You're going to put a yard sign in the yard. It's this big thing. And for the yard sign to be dark half the time, what sense does that make? Why? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So get a light. And then the last thing I'll mention here is get a flyer box. Again, it seems so like an antique, It seems like something that is embarrassing to some people, but I have literally talked to agents in the last few months that do that, and people come in there and they pull out those listing flyers and every status. So when this status here changes, you should have the signer. I got one in my hands right now. You can hear me banging it right there. Every time the status changes, get the status writer on the top and put some more flyers in the flyer box. Because the listing flyers, if we come into listings to leads and I click on listings, you will see that every listing and every listing status, it changes just a little bit. And so you can imagine here, so if we go to just listed and I go to listing flyer, let's just download one real quick and I'll show it to you. And then I'm going to show you the pending flyer as well, because it does change a little bit. So here's just listed. Now we got like 20 or 30 flyer templates. It's got the text information right there. It's got some seller call to action, lead capture there. So here's my just listed. And then imagine now there's an open house. The open house flyer will say open house on it. And then the most beautiful part though, is when that listing goes pending and I put that pending rider on the top and I put the pending listing flyer in the flyer box. Now this is when all the neighbors really start taking a look at my listing, because they see it went pending. They didn't realize it went pending, but now they see the rider says pending on the top of the sign rider. It still has the text information on it. That'll stay the same all the way through. But then I'm going to print up, 10, 15 copies of this, and I'm going to drop it in the flyer box. And that way, when those neighbors, they're walking by, they can pick up this flyer, and this flyer now is a full-size 8.5 by 11 ad sitting on their kitchen countertop. And they're going to keep that. And then now, imagine if I circle prospect while it's pending. So imagine how they got the flyer, they seen the yard sign, and I'm going to go to the nearby homeowner letter. Now, this letter can work in a few different ways. First of all, if you want more, I think the best place to go for a great conversation around this letter is in the overview for every section. Right here, step-by-step guide. If I click on that, this right here is everything in the marketing tools list that we were just looking at. And it's in order. So there's your Facebook and Instagram ads, a little bit about follow-up, social media posting, talk about Instagram stories for a pending listing, which I highly recommend. And I'm going to scroll down to the nearby homeowner letter right here. And this is a great overview. So we talk about door knocking, mailing. You could use a postcard or a door hanger, right? We got call scripts. And so again, let's go back to the nearby homeowner letter. My goodness. Let's go ahead and download this. Right under this, you can see we got postcards and door hangers. Those are great as well. You can totally use those, but check out this letter. So we're letting the neighbors know about the listing right next to them. So in this case, about the listing that went pending. They get more information by going to the website. And here's the deal. That URL is going to help out as well. When they see a URL with the address and then a domain like the best listing, America's best listing, that goes a long way to your credibility. So great domain. We got the text code, and all these colors are your brand colors. So these are just colors I got for the listing. They can also scan the QR code. You can try it if you want right now while you're on the call. And then it lets them know that when the home is sold, it will affect their home's value. And they can go here to get their current home value right now. You see, it goes right to the landing page. If they go to this link, that will go to the single property website. And because the listing is pending, it's going to capture seller leads as well. And if you're on any of my calls, I always change the property description when the listing is pending, because I know homeowners are going to see my listings more often than a home buyer. Because I know that homeowners are going to be seeing my listing more, I want to speak to them. Because when my listing goes up for sale, of course, my property description is going to be geared towards home buyers. But once that listing goes into contract, I want to change it and be more appropriate for people that might have a home to sell. In fact, let me give you all this URL, and you're more than welcome. I'm going to drop it into the questions there, send it all. Oh, wow. I always love it when I look up and I see a lot more people on the call. So good to see everybody this morning. So nearby homeowner letter, get that out. And I always tell people, get it out to 100 homes around your listing. And again, if you don't have a listing, if you don't have a way to use these tools, what I would do is I would borrow a listing to hold open. I would do an open house, and then I would use that nearby homeowner letter the hour or two before. I would go door knocking around all the homes around that area. In fact, what I would do, let's say the open house is at 1 o'clock, maybe at 10 a.m., I'm going to go door knocking or door dropping, right? Combination thereof with those letters, and invite all the neighbors to the open house. So I'm going to go knock on the door, take a couple of steps back. I'm 6 feet tall. I don't want to be intimidating to anybody. So I knock on the door, take a couple of steps back. If somebody answers the door, I'm going to say, hello, my name is Scott Pierce. I'm a real estate agent in the area. We're having an open house down the street at 333 Main Court, and I wanted to invite you to the open house. Really easy question, right? Because here's the deal. They're going to thank you. You might have a quick conversation. They might come by the open house, but they're going to keep that letter. If anyone is even thinking about selling their property, they're going to keep that letter. It's absolutely awesome. And again, we got postcards, we got door hangers, and all these colors match your colors. You got the QR code, you got the text code, you got the URL right there. The postcards are amazing. The letters are amazing. The door hangers work. And then down here, we got circle prospecting scripts. And so again, that's where using the data from somewhere like MyPlus Leads, RedX, Prospect Boss, Vulcan 7 can be really handy, because now I can get all that data, and now I've got the phone numbers so I can call these people. Now, if you don't have a chance to call them, that's fine. I would say probably more than half the people do not call. But of course, calling is phenomenal because A, you get better at talking to people, and B, you'll get more conversion. You'll get more conversion from it. So again, I highly recommend it. So nearby homeowner letter, if you can do it 2 to 3 times over the course of the listing, think about your standard marketing and advertising maxim. And it talks about frequency. So we want people to see us on social media. We want them to see us on direct mail or print mail. We want them to get phone calls from us. Hopefully they get an email from us. And so the idea here is, instead of doing 500 letters at once, or instead of doing 500 postcards at once, do 100 2 to 3 times. And I think you get the idea now, right? They get the letter, they put it on the kitchen countertop, they don't get to it, right? When it was just listed or open house, are great times to send out these letters. And then when the listing goes pending, we're going to do it again. And then when the listing goes sold, we will do a second or a third time. And you will get more conversion out of that than you would have sending 300 to 500 at once. So it's always better to do a little bit multiple times than it is to do a lot all at once. Make sense for everybody? Do you get the idea? You get the reasoning behind that? So let's go to, in fact, let me show you. Yes, okay, let's go to ads. Let's talk a little bit about custom audiences. So there's a blue button here in the ads dashboard, create audience. All you have to do is click on that, give yourself an audience name. So I might say my database. So I don't know, Lofty. And then I might say December 2024. And then I might start it off with my seller leads, or maybe, so that would be your database, or maybe it's my plus leads. And then I would also say seller leads, or I could say Folsom, so the area. So lead type, I know, and it could be all, or it could be homeowners. You get the idea. Homeowners, buyer leads, seller leads, all leads. Which audience is it? Then the area. I want to know, is it Folsom? Is it Roseville? Is it Sacramento? Then I want to know the source. Where did that list come from, so I don't forget later? And then just the month and year. You don't need to put December 20th or 20th, 18th or anything. Then click upload contacts. Now the CSV file formatting should be email, phone number, first name, last name. If you need help with this, by all means, go ahead and send it to our support team. They will not steal your leads, I promise you. They'll just take it, they will format it if they need to, and they'll upload it for you. Now that can take 2 to 3 days. So don't try to upload the list and then run the ad right away. It can take even a week. It's up to Facebook. We send it to the API. Facebook, what they're going to do is they're going to try to match as many of these people as possible. The bigger the list, the better, as long as it's a good list. I would highly recommend doing your database. Tell me, some of you give me your databases. So you might be using eCore, you might be using Lofty or Sierra, maybe LionDesk or Wise Agent, right? So you might be using any of these CRMs. I would for sure upload those as well. Follow Boss, awesome, yep. Upload that database, and it might look like this. I might just say, Follow Boss, all. In this case, I wouldn't really need an area because it's just my entire database, right? In December 2024. Click upload contacts, have the CSV file ready, and just upload it right there. And then that way, once that ad is ready, once the audience is ready, anytime I'm running an ad, in particular the seller lead ads, let's go back to the marketing, let's go back to the dashboard. Let's take a look at suggested ads. Because now every time I run an ad, I can make sure that my custom audience, which will include the people in my GeoFarm area, the people in my database, let's say I got a pending listing or the cash offer like we talked about before, create ad, and then right here, it'll autofill location, but retarget is open. And I can type in that audience name, it'll just pop up right here. And then I hit create ad, and now everybody in my GeoFarm, right, in the audience are going to see this ad. So it's a beautiful, so now imagine they saw your letter. So you got the nearby homeowner letter or postcard. Now, not everybody in the farm is going to get your letter or postcard. There could be 500, there could be 800 people in that GeoFarm area, and you can't get all 800 at once. So what I want you to do is with the idea of circle prospecting, if you can do it, go around the house. So go 100 homes around the house. If you want to go just directly into a GeoFarm without using an open house, you might start off with 200, but you want to make sure that you're going to do something every single month. So don't start off with such a big number that you can't sustain it over the long term, because this game, A, it is about the long term, but B, if you can leverage this with circle prospecting around an open house or a pending or a sold or just listed listing, you're going to get your ROI dialed in so much faster. Your ROI will be a couple of months versus the 8 to 10 to 12 months that most of these trainers are talking about, right? I love when I go into YouTube and I'm doing research, I'm just checking out different things. I'll see a trainer, they talk about GeoFarming in a year to get any ROI, and it's going to cost you $40,000 investment before anything will happen. I'm like, no, we can get an ROI from our GeoFarm quickly if we combine the idea of circle prospecting a listing that is ours, or if it's going to be a listing that if we don't have a listing, again, find an open house to borrow. Find an open house to borrow, because that will be your best bet to start nailing all of these homeowners into your database and start having better conversations. Now, since we're talking about open houses a little bit, I'm not going to get into a full-on training on it because we've got a beautiful presentation. If you go to the marketing calendar, presentations, and come down to open house mastery, and we got the presentation, the guide, the checklist. I would go through the presentation first. If you're a broker, you're a lender, you're a title officer, and you do or you're a coach, right? You're an agent who does coaching. This presentation right here is going to make you look like $1 million, and it's going to bring a lot of value to both you and your agents. So this presentation here, you just roll through it, and this right here will take your open houses, whether they're yours or not, right? How do you do an open house that it becomes an event and we become famous, right? I want you to be famous in your local area. And this is one of the great ways to do it. This is what Dustin Fox did. This is what other agents have done. And they've gone from being just whether they're single or they work with their wife, maybe, to being just absolute ballers with dozens and dozens of people on their teams, starting off with this strategy right here. Literally starting off with doing open house. Now, you can cold call all day long, and cold calling is something that you should get good at, but I'm telling you, it would be a lot more fun to do an open house. Go through this presentation again. It's right here. Marketing calendar, presentation, then we got open house mastery. There's a guide. So this guide is a 36-page guide. It's pretty big. I didn't set out to do 39 pages, goodness. But the guide is awesome because this will have a lot of stuff in here that's really not in the presentation. Because in here, we got links to some of the stuff that we talk about. For example, you're going to see we talk about bandit signs. We talk about catering the open house, and there's ways that you can do that very cheaply. So there's a lot of things in here. We got scripts. Oh my gosh, we got so much stuff in here. And again, this is going to take you from being, this will take your open houses from being a glorified babysitter to do something to make the seller think you're actually working, to literally getting leads and buyers from that same amount of time that you're going to spend doing it. And then lastly, right here, we got the checklist. So I always highly, again, I recommend that. Now, we've got a ton of direct mail tools with scripts. If I go to the marketing calendar, you're going to see here, there's something going on every single day of the month, right? Every weekday. And they're split into seller and buyer campaigns or funnels. So anything with a person, that's a buyer. So you see these little blue kind of icons on the left of the dates. Anything with a house is for seller leads. Now, a lot of the buyer stuff has the letters, the postcards, the door hangers, and all of that, but all of the seller ones do. For example, let me just show you here. You may, again, as I mentioned earlier, you may not have a listing to market this month to your farm, but we got PDF guides. We've got the 100% home marketing plan. We've got get your home value. So I'm going to look at the 100% home marketing plan. And this is going to be true of all of the seller lead capture. If you go to the marketing tools, we got the guide and we got the checklist. So let me download the checklist first. And again, every day of the month, we'll have a checklist. Notice in the checklist, there will be a section called Farm Circle Prospecting. Now, again, a lot of the buyer tools won't have this, right? I'm not going to send out a postcard to my farm for the ultimate guide to buying a home. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I will send it out for the ultimate guide to selling a home. And so again, all of the seller landing pages, all of the seller PDF guides have the Farmer Circle Prospecting tools. So if I go back here and I just go to the marketing tools, you will see we've got postcards and door hangers, print flyers that look absolutely beautiful, and database / cold calling script. So again, this would be absolutely awesome. What I would do, I like door knocking. I love the idea of door knocking, but I also understand a lot of people don't have a lot of time. We just need to get something out the door. So let me show you. I'm going to download the PDF guide, the PDF version. We'll do the front and then we'll do the back so you can see how awesome these are. But again, don't go out the door with 500 of these. Start off with a couple of hundred. And again, the best bet's going to be if you're going to use something like My Plus Leads or RedX, and you got the phone numbers and you got the direct mail, again, doing both at the same time. Now, here's what I would do. If I'm going to launch this postcard to my farm, wouldn't it also make sense to run the ad? So here's the Facebook ad to that same farm. Now, again, I'm going to probably mail that or door knock 100 to 200 homes. Now, the audience that will see my ad will be a lot more. And here's a beautiful trick about this ad in particular. This is what we call like a tickler ad or a prospecting ad. So notice this ad in particular is a little bit different from most of them. because the objective is not lead ads, it's not traffic, it's video views. And we don't have a location. We're not even putting a location here. We want you, now you can do whatever you want, but we want to guide you through this. So we really want you to use your audiences here. I got my custom audience. I got my database audience again. And check this out. $1 a day budget, $1 a day. Now I might increase that to $2. Wow. And notice again, right? Normally we do a lifetime budget, but here we're doing a daily budget because what do we want? I want whatever it is that I'm using for my farm and circle prospecting for that month. Now I could run the ad as a normal lead ad, $35 for a week, but I want this to percolate along for the entire month so that as people see my other ads, so I'm still going to run my pending listing ad or my just listed ad, right? I might run a cash offer ad, but I want something to percolate along the entire month so that people, homeowners, right, when they get my letter or postcard or a door hanger, they get a phone call from me, they get an email from me. I want them to see me in as many places as possible. And this goes a long way to that. Here's a video it's going to play. And the cool thing is once they see, I think it's like 3 to 5 seconds of the video, they get retagged into your audience. So even if they're in your audience, they're just going to start seeing your stuff more and more. It's so beautiful. Click create ad. And literally all I did was I just added my audience and click create ad. So the video is processing. So that'll take a second and that'll be launched. And now I'll have an awesome, I got the direct mail out. We got the call script. We got the ad out. Now I would also send this e-flyer to everybody because again, I want that consistency of message. I want whatever it is I'm doing on my direct mail, my GeoFarm, my circle prospecting, I want to expand that to my entire audience, but I also want to make sure those people that got the GeoFarm or the circle prospecting stuff to see the other things. So again, the ad, the e-flyer, right? I want them to see me in as many places as possible. And again, that's why when I can do an open house, I will, because my open houses using Open House Mastery and Listings to Leads is going to become an event. And that's going to help me get more and more dialed in and get on a first name basis with more of the homeowners in that area. And that is going to help me become the dominant agent in that area. And now the last thing I'm going to talk about here, and I'll love to take any questions from anybody, but the listing presentation, I'm going to go to listings, listing presentation. And then right here is the 26-page branded marketing plan, the general one. So this is the one that everybody gets, right, when you first log into your account. And do notice when you have an actual, so when you got a listing presentation scheduled, you can add that listing to your account and create a custom listing presentation. So right here, notice I got a listing, a status listing presentation. And when I click market listing, notice right there, download listing presentation. So this is a 26-page branded presentation where every single page on that presentation shows the homeowner's home. In fact, let me see. I think I've got one. I should have had it ready earlier and I didn't. And let me see here. Just grabbed the ad. Let me see. That's annoying. You'll be able to see it later. I do want to mention expired. See this expired listing I've got, and I got a FSBO. They also, you can create custom listing presentations for these as well. Again, for my expired homeowner that I really want to go after, you might want to print that. In fact, you don't have to print the whole thing. In fact, let me see if I got one in my downloads. I think I've got one. Open House Mastery. Let me because I'd love to show this to you real quickly here. So let me just bring this up. I know I was downloading one or two the other day, so it shouldn't be too far down my list. Who knows? Maybe you always say it was a lot longer than you think it was, but I thought, oh, let's check. Oh, there we go. This is one for expired. Oh, that's cool. So let me show you this one. So they'll all look the same. So here's expired. And that will literally, it'll actually put the seller's name and property address on the presentation. Oh, that was a test one. We were doing a test the other day. Let me see this one here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So you'll see their home, every single page within here is going to have their home right there. It looks awesome. And when we were looking in the beginning of this call, we were looking at success stories, and that one person said, oh, about the listing presentation. So let me show you what he was talking about, because this is so awesome. When you're in a listing presentation, you're going through your marketing plan. Look at that. Look how beautiful that looks. A full screen, single property website, and virtual tours. And this one, or really this one right here. So when you're in a listing presentation and you're going through your marketing plan, now here's a beautiful thing. Hopefully you will go up against those people that do the one pager. Oh my gosh, you are going to, it's going to be awesome. So all those people who their coaches are giving them this one page property marketing plan, and you walk in with this, holy cow. And here's the deal. When they scan that QR code, you've got it. As long as you don't mess up the pricing, as long as you go through everything else, the way it should, when the seller scans that QR code, they are going to be about ready to list with you, no matter what else you've done or haven't done. Anyone on this call want to scan it real quick? Let me make it bigger. Let me bring it over. So feel free to scan that QR code while we're on the call together, or if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and scan that QR code. And the reason why this is so awesome, in fact, let me scan it as well. God, I hope I didn't delete this listing. Let's find out. I was cleaning up my account this morning and I just realized, I wonder if I deleted this listing. We'll find out. I did delete it. God dang it. So and this is not bad. So I'll have to delete this one because I deleted the listing this morning. But do notice when a listing leaves your account for whatever reason, we direct everybody to your agent website with listings to leaves. So even though this is a kind of a mess up here, I'll have to delete this one and regenerate the next one. But the cool thing is it shows you that when you've got a listing, you sell it, you delete it out of your listings to leaves account. Maybe somebody sees that post or ad later, and when they click the link or they scan the QR code, they're going to go to your agent website. So actually it works out. It works out pretty well. I'll just make sure I delete this guide, and I will get another. Yeah, because you can see here, I deleted that listing out of my account this morning. Of course, that's just the way it works. Any last minute questions Priya? Yes, you can. And we're actually coming out with a URL at some point soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but we are working on it, where it's a URL. Once you've got that listing presentation created, you can send it as an attachment. Not as big. So it's a little bit big for an attachment, but you'll have a link at some point soon as well. And now let me show you something, because I believe, so there's a pre-listing pack here as well. So this one is only 4 pages long. So it's not going to be the 36 or 26, whatever pager that the other one is, but this one here, right? So this is a version you see a lot of agents take to the listing presentation. So there's this, and here's what I recommend. Go to the property marketing plan. We've got home selling process outline. So I don't even talk about this enough. I need to talk about this more. So I might send the pre-listing pack, right? I might send this because it's 4 pages. This is a 1-pager, and you can see how you can edit it. Look at that. So imagine having that and this. Here's a pre-listing packet. Your name, everything's on it. Looks beautiful. Looks awesome. Then we got the home selling process. And then I believe we've got how to prepare your home for sale. Priya, come on, you're killing me. I need you to get in the mastermind group and put a great post. So you're going to do that for me, Priya? Go to the mastermind group and let's give us a good post. How did you get the listing? How do you get the listing? And just give us a little, I'd love to hear you walk in. How do you give us a feel for how the whole thing went? Because a lot of people, they get a little bit nervous. They don't know how to do things. And so to hear from your success would be really awesome. And I haven't given out a mastermind post of the week in a few weeks. So maybe you might be able to get a free month of service by getting the mastermind post of the week if you do that. Oh, expired. Awesome. Did you use the listings leads tools to get the expired listing? So again, I'm telling you people, so Vulcan, yeah, awesome. Yep. And you can use both together if you're using Vulcan or again, Redx or batch leads or batch is on the dialer, but any of these things. So let me show you again. In fact, let me go to my account. So if you guys want to hang on just for I got to get going, but I just want to real quickly here. If I go to landing pages, because you can incorporate our stuff into any other system that you're using. And so create landing page, add new. This is how quick it is. I can do this within just 2 minutes. Let's say the area of my farm is Whitney Oaks. And so when I want to go after expireds, Invisible works in a similar way. So check this out, Whitney Oaks, view, download checklist, all the marketing tools, all of the images, the landing page, the questions, the tag, all this is editable. Check this out, whitneyoaks.expiredsoldeasy.com. So imagine as you're calling people and you can actually direct them to that landing page. And then imagine and I would do this for expireds. Oh my God, I would do this for expireds, not the Google ad. I would do a Facebook and Instagram ad. So again, Priya and Vulcan, how big is that list of expireds in Vulcan? And here's what I might do. Let's say the list in Vulcan is like 200 people, whatever. Add that to your database, custom audience, and then then I would run this. Let me back up. Add that to your seller, your homeowner leads, right? Seller leads, homeowner contacts, whatever. Yeah, you get like 4 a day. So it's not enough to create a custom audience with individually, right? So there's not enough expireds, and for most of you at least, there's not enough to create a custom audience with. So combine it with your homeowner seller lead database. And then that way it might be big enough. And then check this out, lead ads, location, right? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to retarget. So I'm going to retarget my database in which all of these expired leads are a part of. So I want that way, because I want my homeowners to see that I've got an expired home selling program. Why? Because it might make them think, well, why would I work with another agent who doesn't have that? Because they never talked about it, so they must not have one. So if you're talking about it, you must have one. And if I'm a homeowner, why would I go with another agent who my home may go expired with, when you're the one that goes and helps people whose homes couldn't even sell to begin with? We got a social media post, which I would highly recommend doing that once a month. We've got a great short form video script. I would do that once a month. We got this e-flyer. So Priya, if you got their email address, right? In fact, let me just show you here. I'll send a test email. So notice, did not sell your Whitney Oaks home. As an expert in real estate market, I'd like to offer you a free review of how the homes, and again, all this is editable, but look at that, Whitney Oaks expiredsoldeasy.com. Do you think, or do you not think this will help you get more expireds converted into listings? And like I just showed you, that entire expired, right? That expired listing presentation of 26 pages. Now, you're not going to want to do that for every single expired listing, but I'm telling you, if you got that expired listing and you just know, if you don't get that and somebody else does, you're just going to die. You do not want to wake up in the morning and find out that somebody else got that listing, because it's a prime listing. It's a great listing. You just want it. I would add that to my account. I would come in here, and I literally am going to leave in 1 minute, but I'm going to just point you in the right direction here. Add listing manual, status, expired. Just add their name. All you got to do, 2 things, just add street, address, city, state, zip code. Go grab a picture of the property. If you're serious about really wanting that listing, I would recommend go take a photo of the property. Don't steal the listing agent's photos. Don't do that. Worst case, grab something off of Google Street View. But I would go, if I'm a professional, I want to act like a professional. right? I'm going to go out, take a picture of the property, come back on the next page, save and add photos, and then you'll be able to download that listing presentation. And you don't have to print every page. You might just print the first page, the page with mobile marketing, and the ending page, and just say you'd like to be able to present the entire 26-page plan. Here are just a few pages to give you an idea of the type of marketing that I do. That will get you in front of more people. So Priya, yeah, get into the mastermind group. I want to hear how you did that. That's absolutely awesome. Congratulations. And for everybody else, if you have anything, get with our support team, get into the mastermind group. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.